The 9 chains to avoid. 1. Chipotle Mexican Grill. There was a time when Chipotle felt fresh and honest. You could watch the line cooks, pick your fillings, and see your burrito built right in front of you. It felt transparent, better than any drive-thru. But the outbreak headlines changed everything. The brand stacked up multiple incidents tied to foodborne illness that left customers deeply wary. Beyond the health scares, the overall experience started to wobble. Smaller protein portions at certain locations, inconsistent seasoning, and prices that climbed to the point where a single burrito can cost as much as a sit-down meal. Former employees admitted that during rush hours, it was standard practice to skip temperature checks entirely just to keep the line moving. One whistleblower from Colorado said that rice sitting out for hours would still get served because management made clear that speed mattered more than safety. That kind of memory sticks. Even when a chain overhauls its procedures, bad headlines don't disappear. They linger in the back of every customer's mind. When deciding whether to place that order, trust is fragile. When a brand builds part of its identity around transparency and safety, a lapse in either hits harder. Walk into one Chipotle and you get a burrito packed with steak and guac. Walk into another and you're hunting for protein between spoonfuls of rice. That inconsistency is the silent killer of any fast casual brand. People come back when they get the same solid meal every single time. When portions exceed wildly, you feel shortchanged. And when a guacamole add-on can nearly double the bill, the value equation gets ugly fast, especially for seniors and families watching their budget. 2. Del Taco. Del Taco is the hybrid chain trying to do tacos and burgers at the same time, and sometimes managing to do neither well. The menu is a strange mix: tacos, burritos, burgers, fries, and shakes. In theory, that sounds smart. In practice, it's a branding identity problem. When you split focus between 2 different kitchen styles, the result is usually 2 mediocre menus instead of one standout one. The tacos feel like they were built by a burger chain, and the burgers feel like they were designed by a taqueria. Texture is where Del Taco trips up most often. Taco shells arrive either stale or soggy. A stale shell snaps too hard. A soggy shell collapses into a mess. When the shell fails, the whole taco fails with it. Fillings swing between bland and greasy, with shredded lettuce and cheese piled high to mask the thin layer of meat underneath. Burritos tend to be rice-heavy, with protein playing a supporting role. For a chain that should center on flavor, that's a real problem. The burger side is competent but never compelling. If you want a burger that rivals a dedicated burger joint, Del Taco won't be your destination. If you want a taco that honors its roots, Del Taco misses the mark more often than not. The chain ends up in an uncomfortable middle ground, convenient and occasionally satisfying, but rarely the highlight of anyone's food day. If your priority is authentic Mexican flavor or a truly great burger, Del Taco will always be a compromise. 3. Didioba Mexican Eats. Didioba launched as an option for people who wanted a Chipotle-like experience with a few extra perks. For a while, the promise held up: free queso and guac on certain deals, and enough variety to keep things interesting. But over time, the gap between promise and plate grew wider. Didoba's flavors can land flat where boldness is expected. Rice sometimes has a gummy texture, and meats can be underseasoned. In the crowded fast casual space, being mild isn't a feature, it's a liability. The most common complaint is that Didioba rarely surprises anyone. Where a solid local taqueria builds a taco that tells a story, Didioba hands you a generic bite. That kind of predictability might comfort some people, but it bores many more. In a world where diners seek bold flavors and memorable meals, being merely serviceable won't win new loyalty. Portion sizes and value have also slipped. When prices climb, customers expect either a bigger portion or a better taste. For families and seniors eating on a budget, that math matters a lot. In a category where flavor should be the star. 4. Moe's Southwest Grill. Walk into a Moe's and you get that full volume welcome to Moe's greeting. It's fun the first time, maybe the second. By the 10th visit, it starts to feel like the mask the brand wears while the kitchen does its own thing. The problem isn't just the noise. Over the last several years, Moe's has shown up in local health inspection reports for issues that actually matter. Mold buildup on soda nozzles and ice machines. cleanliness violations that inspectors flagged for immediate correction on the spot, and reports of managers or certified food safety personnel not being present during inspections. Those are the kinds of records that shift Moe's from fun burrito spot to check the inspection site before you eat. On the plate, Moe's runs the standard fast casual build-your-own setup: rice, beans, meat, salsa. When it's executed right, a burrito can be bright and satisfying. When it's not, the rice is dry, the meat is underseasoned, and the salsa is watery. Customer reviews swing between best burrito I've had and my rice was hard as a pebble. That level of inconsistency kills repeat business. One location gets raves for a perfect bowl. Another racks up complaints about cold food and wrong orders. And both can be the same brand on different days. That's not just a taste issue, it's a question of whether staff are properly trained, supervised, and given enough time to run basic quality checks. 5. Taco John's. If you're a potato olays fan, you already get it. Those little fried potato rounds can be crispy, salty, and absolutely perfect dunked in cheese or salsa. For plenty of regulars, that side dish is the entire reason to stop at Taco John's. The problem starts when the side outshines the main event. Customer reviews and local threads consistently report that tacos and burritos land bland or greasy, with shells that arrive stale or soggy. That imbalance leads a lot of people to admit they only stop by for the potatoes and the nostalgia, not because the tacos are actually worth the trip. And there's a bigger issue underneath the nostalgia: inconsistency. Yelp pages and local review threads swing wildly from best Taco John's ever to never going back. Some locations nail it, others fall completely flat. A crispy taco shell one day can be a limp, sad shell the next. Meat that tastes solid at one location can be greasy and underseasoned at another. That level of unpredictability means you're still gambling. And that bet isn't always worth the price, especially for seniors or families on a tight budget. When the side dish is the star and the tacos are an inconsistent supporting act, it's time to ask whether the chain still deserves your stock. 6. On the border. There was a time when it meant a lively dining room and a cast iron skillet arriving still steaming. These days, multiple customer reports flag inconsistent cooking and service, fajitas arriving lukewarm, and side dishes that taste reheated, and chips that can be stale right out of the basket. For a sit-down restaurant, those are glaring failures, because customers expect more care and attention than they would at a quick drive-thru. When you're paying for a dining experience, it should feel like one. Browse TripAdvisor and Yelp and you'll find both defenders and critics. Defenders talk about fun margaritas and generous portions. Critics call out long waits, inattentive service, and meals that arrived colder than they should have. That split tells you the brand can still deliver, but only at well-run locations. The risk is that you can't know which one you'll get. For older guests who remember the better days, the decline is especially noticeable and disappointing. When the fajita sizzle arrives as a whisper and the steam is long gone, that's the kind of dinner that makes you reconsider going back. 7. Chevy's Fresh Mex. Chevy's once felt like a genuine family fiesta. Tortillas made in-house, mesquite grilled items, and plates that arrived with color and heat. Lately, customers and local listings tell a different story. Tortillas served cold or rubbery, enchiladas that taste reheated, and dishes that fall well short of the fresh promise printed right on the sign. Yelp and TripAdvisor pages show frequent mixed reviews. Some guests love the fajitas and margaritas. Others complain that the food feels tired or like it came out of a microwave. That split is a serious problem when fresh is literally part of your name. There's also a business reality at play. Many Chevy's locations have closed in recent years. That contraction affects everything from supply chains to staff morale. When a brand shrinks, the remaining locations often inherit older equipment and tighter budgets, which shows up as slower service. Fewer menu updates and missed quality checks. For families paying full price for a sit-down meal, those small downgrades add up fast. A fresh brand has almost no margin for error. Customers come in expecting bright flavors and tight execution. When that expectation isn't met, the disappointment is louder than any amount of loyalty. Too often, Chevy's doesn't meet it. 8. El Palo Loco. 8. El Palo Loco sells itself on citrus-seasoned, flame-grilled chicken, a meal that should be straightforward and satisfying. But in several high-profile public health investigations, Chicken from El Palo Loco was linked to salmonella outbreaks that sickened dozens of people. California Health Investigations and Outbreak Reports documented clusters tied to specific El Palo Loco locations. With public records showing follow-up corrective actions and recommendations for stronger sanitation protocols and food safety training. Beyond the outbreaks, inspection reports and consumer complaints point to issues like undercooked or dry chicken at individual locations. Local inspection records flag violations at some stores. Consumer complaint feeds show guests reporting missing sides and inconsistent portion sizes. These issues aren't universal. Some El Palo Loco restaurants do a solid job. But you should check recent local reports before sitting down. For a chain that grills fresh chicken every day, the line between juicy and dry is razor thin. When oversight slips, the margin for error increases. And that margin can turn into a public health problem quickly. 9. Taco Bell. The worst of the list, Taco Bell is the neon oasis for late-night cravings and college runs. It's everywhere, it's cheap, it's fast. But that speed and scale come with a history that deserves serious attention. Product recalls, consumer lawsuits, and food safety headlines have stuck to this brand like salsa on a shirt. Over the years, Taco Bell has faced major legal and public health scrutiny, including litigation tied to outbreaks and ingredient labeling. These aren't just PR blips, they affect trust. And trust is everything when choosing food for family or seniors who need safer options. Major food safety law firms and public health trackers have documented outbreaks tied to Taco Bell in the past, prompting widespread concern. When a brand processes enormous volumes of products and feeds millions, the distribution chain multiplies the risk. A single contaminated batch can spread across countless locations in a very short time. Taco Bell's items are built around engineered convenience, shelf-stable components, rapid assembly, and long supply chains. The result is a taco that's reliable, but often thin on real protein and heavy on filler. Burritos lean rice forward. Nachos turn into a neon cheese swamp. It's comfort food with a manufacturing stamp, cheap in price and expensive in regret. The two that are actually worth it. Worth it: 1. Chais. Walk into a Chais and you get color, energy, and the promise of a creamy jalapeno dip that people talk about. The place feels like a local favorite that figured out how to scale without losing the parts that made it special. Chai's roots are in Austin, and the brand keeps leaning into that rowdy, welcoming energy while expanding carefully. The creamy jalapeno dip is not a marketing trick. It's rich, tangy, and carries just enough heat to make chips disappear. When a chain nails one small, repeatable item like that, it shows the kitchen understands tight, consistent prep. Chai's executes Tex-Mex pillars well. Fajitas often arrive with a loud sizzle, plenty of protein, and warm flour tortillas. Enchiladas and burritos lean hearty rather than flashy, with sauces that carry real flavor instead of just fat. For seniors who want a comfortable portion and reliable taste, that consistency has genuine value. The atmosphere, hubcaps, neon, and oddball art reinforces the whole experience. You're there to relax and enjoy bold food. Chai's delivers on that promise more often than not, a superior choice for quality and safety. Worth it too. Torchy's Tacos. Torchy's started in a food trailer in Austin and grew into a national player without abandoning the gutsy, creative menu that made it famous. Austin vibes. That origin matters. Torchy's didn't begin as a kitchen systems experiment. It began as a chef's mission to build bold tacos, and the menu still reads like a string of small stories. Each taco has its own distinct personality. Torchy's builds tacos that genuinely surprise. Fried avocado with poblano ranch, brisket with pickled red onions, fried chicken with a spicy drizzle. These aren't play-it-safe tacos. They layer textures and flavors in ways you simply don't get from most national chains. When a brand bets on creative combinations and actually executes them well, the payoff is repeat customers who gladly pay a little more. Torchy's has proven that this model scales to over 100 locations while keeping the menu exciting and the quality worth the price. The brand expanded carefully and maintained central control over its operations in a way that protects the menu's identity. The story built around a Vespa and a trailer is part of the marketing, but it's also part of how the company trains crews to cook with boldness and consistency, national reach without flattened flavor. That's rare, and Torchy's earns it.